Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Is anybody listening?
Yes, this one's from Amy B on Spotify. Sociopath here. I always set my oven to unconventional temps. 365, 385, 404. I don't like
404.
I don't like odd numbers next to each other.
Okay.
This helps. Love you guys.
Okay.
So it's like the three.
I feel like you can really relate to that.
No, this was like this. I mean, this like stood out like.
Yes. Has it changed the game for you, kind of?
It's just worrisome that because now with this in my head, it's like, will I ever be able to set the oven where
I know
numbers aren't?
404. I don't even know that we could. Oh, I guess we can type in the.
But 404, it's just, it has to be, that's even, odd, even. Anything in the threes is going to start with, it has to go odd, even, odd.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you consider 0 an odd or even?
Even.
Yeah.
What do you?
Even.
You sound like,
Well, then I was realizing, like, of course it's even. It's the next number is 1.
So 305, you're great.
But, so you need odds paired together, but with an even in the middle.
Or vice versa.
You
so
need
once you get
an
in your
odd, even
400s,
Oreo cookie.
or the other way.
Okay.
If you're in the threes, we get it, right? You know what? It does. You do kind of have to look at it, and then you're like, yeah. But so no, it is a problem. So thanks a lot for saddling me with this, Amy B. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. There are all sorts of those quirks that people have.
Oh, I got them.
What are some of yours?
I'm going to tell you. So the other day, I made a joke with the kids about me picking my nose, and you're like, you don't pick your nose that often. Do you want to know when I pick my nose?
Well, apparently in the shower.
No, I was joking then.
Oh, because Otis was like, yeah, well, when do you pick your nose?
Are we going to talk about a quirky thing or not? Now you look like you're judging me so much.
Oh, I am. I'm curious. By the way, I have a pretty liberal nose picking thing, which is it's kind of funny because growing up, it was very frowned upon. It's kind of a gross habit, obviously. But, and I actually remember, I don't know why I was babysitting when I was 10 years old, but me and my friend were like a mommy's helper to one of my neighbors. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was so mean to this little tiny toddler who picked his nose. And I was like, do not do that. And my friend Bria was like, Elizabeth.
Take it easy.
What are you doing? And I was like, it's a disgusting. And now, not when I'm out and about, obviously, like if we're at dinner, I'm not doing it. But if I need to pick, I'm going to pick. And I find a tissue and I deal with it.
Well, tissue's important. Are you picking with the tissue or picking and then putting it in the tissue?
Picking and putting in a tissue usually, but I have to say, I had nasal surgery 2 years ago.
So?
It's like changed my relationship with my nose. And I'm like, clear it out if you can.
So you couldn't get your finger up there before?
No, it's not about that.
What has it changed, the nasal surgery? Or did you just want to talk about your nasal surgery in the context
Maybe it's
of this?
the sensation of having things in my nose. I mean, I had tubes in my nose for a full week, which was so uncomfortable.
Oh my God. Okay, it sounds like you just want to... It sounds like you're like, I'm talking about picking my nose, so now I'm going to talk about my nose surgery. You're not explaining what has changed that now you're... Is there an actual link?
Yes. I had nose surgery, and I basically had a severely deviated septum. It changed the inside of my nose. It didn't change the outside at all. It changed how I breathe, although lately I've been like, has it kind of fallen back into disarray? But it was a painful recovery. Weirdly more painful than...
Okay,
hang on.
Okay.
Andy, I'm getting to it.
I'm not trying to minimize this,
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Okay, let me finish.
Okay, yeah.
I had tubes in my nose for 2 weeks. The sensation of having things in my nose through that surgery became something I can't tolerate. Versus before it didn't really bother me. So yes, I pick my nose now when I feel like there's something up there.
Okay, so
Jeez.
because the tubes were up there, that was uncomfortable. Now,
Not just the tubes, all the scarring, the scabbing, all of it. I have stitches in there still. They're like underneath the skin.
okay, now
They took my septum out.
Hey.
He sent me a picture of it.
Okay.
It's on a piece of napkin.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
they put it back in.
Let's put that up for the patrons. I get it. Okay, I get it.
When do you pick your nose?
So when I get up to go to the bathroom around 5 a.m., kind of, I go into the bathroom. I sit down for that pee, which I'm not super proud of, but I consider that sort of the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I don't want to turn on the lights or anything, so I sit down to pee.
That's fine. My ew wasn't about you sitting. It was about what's about to happen.
Yeah. So I sit down, and while I'm peeing, I take a real good digging in the nose.
Ew.
And then I flick them in the waste bin.
Flick?
Well, like I roll them off into the waste bin.
Ew. Can you at least take a piece of toilet paper?
The waste bin is right there. Have you ever seen boogers on the floor?
Well,
have you?
Now I'm worried about it. I don't trust you at 5 a.m. You're just flicking it willy-nilly.
Well, that's a quirk of mine. That's when I pick my nose.
Can you please?
And it's like every time I sit down
Andy,
at that time in the morning to do it.
Please, can you? This is so gross. Can you please use toilet paper?
No, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why, okay? Because then you'll hear the little toilet paper thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be so jarring for you. You're trying to sleep and you're going to hear this toilet paper and you're going to be like, oh, he's either pooping or he's putting his boogers on the thing. I won't do that. Instead, what you need to keep your ear out for
I don't want to keep my ear
just imagine a single little booger hitting like the papers in a waste bin. It makes like the littlest noise.
Ew.
That's what you want to keep your
Andy,
ear out
that
for.
is so disgusting.
And you're going to hear it now.
Fuck.
What's one of your quirks? Wait, well, let's do some business.
Oh, okay.
Follow us at Nobody's Listening, right?
No. Follow us. Or if you want to support the show, patreon.com/Nobody's Listening Right.
Yeah, if you want to go on our Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, go subscribe there. Nobody's Listening Right. If you want to go to our website, nobodyslisteninright.com.
It's all streamlined.
Buy that new merch.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
up at nobodyslisteninright.com.
Thank you to everyone who bought merch.
Hit the merch button. Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Okay.
What's one of your quirks?
Oh, yeah. One of my quirks. Let's see.
I got one of yours.
I really like everything to be in its place and you know, drawers and cabinets closed after that. That is kind of a quirk. When I walk into the kitchen, if something's open, I close it. I put things away. I'm quirky like that. I like things.
I don't know if this is a quirk of yours or it's not a quirk. It's not necessarily a shortcoming, but it's something.
Okay.
You are kind of a snob about generic versus brand name stuff.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah. Now, you had a big win recently.
Yes, I did.
Because I burnt myself pretty bad recently, so I've been having to bandage up with some bandages.
And we haven't even talked about that burn.
I think maybe we did.
No. Okay.
I burnt my arm on a sheet pan.
It was
pretty bad.
It was pretty funny because it was hilarious.
Oh, was yeah, that was really funny.
No, it wasn't funny. But what was interesting about it was you were roasting broccoli, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And right before this, you faked me out. You go, oh, and I go, oh my God, are you okay? And you're like, I'm just kidding. And it was like on your arm where you were like, oh, and then moments later, you actually really burned your arm in a way I do believe you should have gone somewhere to have it treated.
Maybe it was because of my fake that when I got the karma burn, I kind of didn't want anyone to know about it. So I was trying to take care of it myself.
Bad. I mean, that's going to be a scar you have for your entire life.
Okay, yes. So I was trying to, I'm going into this wrong because you're going to win the first round.
Well,
but that's okay.
I'm
solid in that.
Okay, listen. There's some things I'm happy to do generic about. you know?
Give
And
one
by the
example
way,
of a generic product that you would buy.
okay, these are crazy times, by the way. I just went to the grocery store.
I know.
And I bought 2 bags of groceries.
Yeah. Let me guess.
Okay.
$117.
No, not that much.
Oh, okay.
But no booze, no like crazy items or anything. It was $85
Yeah.
for 2 bags of groceries.
I know. It is crazy.
It's outrageous.
So with that in mind, when I needed more Band-Aids, I bought the like signature brand.
You get what you pay for.
And boy, did my skin break out. And
You
were
had like
what?
welts.
Yeah, and you were like, what is going on? I was like, I don't know, the Band-Aids. And then it was maybe a couple days later that I mentioned they're generic, and you were like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And you were right. I then bought some Band-Aid
Band-Aid brands.
And they didn't make me break out in crazy welts.
Yes. So
But outside of Band-Aids and Jell-O.
Jell-O. Oh, you don't want to buy generic
Jell-O.
gelatin?
No. But you went to the store today, and I told you to get the tropical fruit medley frozen fruit for smoothies. And it's a signature brand
$14,
item.
by the way.
You said you didn't get any.
I got...
Oh my God, they did have it, didn't
No,
they?
they didn't. And this is what's so annoying is I went and I spent a lot of time looking for it. And already you were like, we're podcasting at 9. You have to be back at 9. And so I'm already stressed out about getting back, even though I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
And what time did we start?
Well, listen,
Quite a bit after 9.
Okay. I'm sitting there looking through all the fruit, I don't care if it's generic. Fruit is fruit, especially frozen fruit. and there was generic berry blend,
Okay.
but not tropical.
Okay.
And the berry blend was $14. So instead I got some mango and I got some pineapple, and I think that that'll do the trick.
That's great. I didn't believe you because I thought you went in and were probably like looking for the like Wegmans or whatever.
Wegmans?
I think that's what it's called. We have a bag of that in the freezer right now. I thought you would have been looking for the flashy one and overlooking the tropical generic brand and being like, I'm not getting that.
No.
So I didn't
I'm
believe
not like
you.
that. I'm not like that. Andy, what's annoying about it is I was standing there spending my precious time looking for this, knowing that I was going to go back and say, and I had to get ahead of it because heaven forbid you get to the point where you're making a smoothie and you're like, well, where's the fucking tropical blend? And then you'd go, you didn't get the tropical? And I would say, no, they didn't have it. And you would not believe me.
You're right, because I would think, well, it's generic what we get.
It's exhausting having you check my homework all the time. This is a great example. I'm saying they didn't have it. You have to believe me that they didn't have it.
But I believe you now, and I'm really happy we had the conversation because now I don't ever think this anymore. Now I know that you would have bought the generic brand, but the reason I'm checking your homework here is because there is so much evidence over the years of you dissing the generic brand that I couldn't be confident knowing. But now we know. Now we have the conversation.
What's an example?
Everything.
Well, what's something that you would be buying generic and I'm not? Nilla wafers? I don't know why we're fighting, by the way.
I don't know why. I don't think you would have bought the Target brand pasta that I bought yesterday.
Oh, you are so wrong.
I think you would have been allured by the bag. Lured? But it was alluring, the bag, too.
Alluring.
How would you be allured?
Why do these words sound so weird?
Anyways, it was a good bag. It was the fancy pasta at Target, but then when you saw it was actually Target
Good
brand.
and Gather.
Good and Gather, I think you would have passed.
I think of Good and Gather as a name brand.
You're lying right now. You really think?
I do.
Okay.
Now, Signature, I don't.
All right, hold on. Okay. I'm going to do a quick quiz of Good and Gather versus regular things to see if you would buy them. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Good and Gather peanut butter versus any
Jif.
other name brand.
I don't know. You always buy, it's got to be Jif.
Okay. Good and Gather yogurt versus Yoplait.
Neither.
Okay.
Pass.
Good and Glower. Whoa. Are we losing language right now? Good and flour? Good and gather.
Yeah.
Good and gather flour versus whatever the pink
Gold
bag.
medal.
Nice pull there.
Gold medal. It's not pink. It's a white bag.
Okay.
Okay.
The good and gather in that case is 50 cents cheaper.
Fine. If
I'm
you
just asking,
got
which
it,
would
by
you
the
get?
way, I wouldn't go. Well, I just go for the gold medal because it's number one. But if you bought it and brought it home, I wouldn't be like, what are you doing?
Okay, we can move on from this.
You got me. There's the generic things I won't buy, and then there are generic things I will buy. And I guess that is a quirk. There's specific things that I want to pay a little extra.
I'm brand
and not
loyal
get
to a lot of things too. I think I was
brand
more
loyal.
I'm more thinking that I really kind of thought that you would just never entertain a generic product, which that's different than being like, I like Band-Aid brand, I like Gold Medal brand. But it sounds like you're open.
I am. I'm open.
I apologize then.
Especially with these prices.
Seriously.
Am I right?
You're right.
I wanted to talk about orthodontia.
Oh, that stresses me out.
Why?
I don't want to pay for orthodontia right now for our kids.
Well, I understand that. And
It's expensive.
it's crazy expensive. And I think it's kind of funny because, our kids both need orthodontia.
Yeah.
And it's like they're going to need some now and they're going to need some later.
Oh, it's such a scam.
It does feel like a scam. And what feels particularly scammy about it is, we go to the dentist and they're like, you should have a consultation with the orthodontist, which is in the same office.
Mm-hmm.
So we schedule that, and it feels like the red carpet is rolled out from you from the jump. Like even them calling to schedule with you, it feels like, I'm already paying for the service. And the consultation is free.
Of course.
But the way they treat you and the fact that it's in the same office as the dentist, which, we love our pediatric dentist, very great, but it's just very cut and dry. You show up, they call you back, do your thing, carry on with your life. The fact that it's the same office and they treat you like, please come into my office. Can I get you anything to drink?
Yeah.
Would you blah, blah, blah? And then it's this whole thing and they have like pamphlets and it just feels, this is going to be expensive in a way that is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it is. We are going to have to do it at some point. Now's probably not the right time, but it made me think about my orthodontia, and I wanted us to share our orthodontia paths.
Oh, mine's pretty cut and dry. I had like a underbite or something. So the first thing I got were called Hollywood braces.
What?
Yeah. When I was in like maybe first or second grade, I think.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
And it was basically braces on the inside of your teeth, almost like a permanent retainer or something.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, then I had normal braces for a while, probably like 3 years.
And wait, what grade were you in?
I think I started in like first or second grade.
First or second?
Because I think I had a pretty messed up jaw or something. And I remember it was like, we could do they still break people's jaw and reset them?
Oh, God, I don't know.
That was a thing when we were kids, for sure.
Wow.
It's like, we could do the surgery or you can go on this longer path, but we won't have to do the surgery. So we went on the surgery or the non-surgical path. Then I had normal braces for a while. Then I got a retainer that I never wore it. And now I'm stuck
But
with
you
this.
had braces in like second, third, fourth grade or
No,
like
I think I had
fifth, sixth, seventh?
I think I had the Hollywood braces younger age, and then I was a little older when I got the regular braces.
Because you'd want your adult teeth in,
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah.
I used to work in a room, and someone I worked with, all of the men in her family are dentists, and she was always like, "Don't worry about the baby teeth, like nothing."
Yeah.
Which we've spent so much money dealing with cavities and baby teeth stuff, and I'm like, they're all just gonna fall out.
There's no doubt in my mind that our kids need orthodontia, right? I think we could wait a year or two. I don't think let's let them get more of their teeth in. I think no. I don't
want to
think there's
get
any
into
difference.
the specifics of what's going on with their teeth, but similar to you, it has something to do with more like structure stuff, then, it's not about straightening their teeth or anything at this point. So I don't think you're right. But I'm surprised that dentistry and orthodontia hasn't come further. And maybe there are dentists and orthodontists out there listening who are like screaming,
Oh,
we've
yeah,
made so much progress.
I
but
think it's made so much progress.
I guess Invisalign, like that sort of thing is one way, but it still seems pretty like you go in, they take little metal tools and kind of chisel away at you.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, I don't know, it just seems still kind of a barbaric, like, it's such a crazy thing. And to me, it's also crazy that these little tiny things in our body carry so much weight. I mean, we've talked about how death creeps in through the gums.
We have?
Haven't we?
I don't think so.
Well, I do think that's true. Like, you have to take care of your teeth. You have to take care of your gums. It's the only set you've got. That in your back. If I could say anything to young people listening to this, take care of your back and take care of your teeth. Because once those go, you're just like, you don't always fully come back from that. And so teeth, but I had crazy orthodontia. We've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about it or not, but I had a headgear for a year that I wore to school. Like now I guess they do have headgears, but they put it on at night. It's like a sleeping thing.
What grade were you in?
I must have been, I have a picture of myself at Disneyland, and actually we used this picture on A Million Little Things because Allison Miller's character talks about having had a headgear.
Oh, yeah.
And that picture shows up. I was probably, I want to say 11. So a great age for this to happen.
Damn.
I was at Disneyland. Like, I'm thinking about my mom made the choice for me to have a headgear on. I might have been at Disney World. Doesn't matter. But there's a picture of me in like Cinderella. And I have a fucking headgear on. And I used to put my hair in like half up pigtails out of each quadrant of the headgear.
Is it shallow of me that I wish you would have, like, I didn't know this about you?
Because well, listen, it's character building. It's one of those things that I'm surprised I have the confidence I do based on this and several other things from my childhood. But, so I had that. I had braces for a long time.
Why do they have to do the headgear?
It's like to pull certain teeth back. Now, I don't know why they need, like...
And how would that... I don't even see how that would work.
Well, the thing that goes around your head attaches to this metal bar that comes out like 2 inches from your mouth.
Hey.
And it like slides into these slots in your teeth. And so it's like pulling it back.
So you did have times where you could take
like
it off to like
bit.
shower and brush and stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had to eat and stuff. You can't eat with it on.
Oh, so you take it off for that. Damn. Listen, I want to apologize on behalf of my wife to all the dentists and orthodontists listening. I see you, and I know that the technology has come a long way.
And how so?
I don't know. I think number one, okay, Invisalign's crazy. The technology that they do to like map out your mouth with like the crazy laser thing they put in your mouth.
That's true.
I feel like in our
X-rays, you still are biting down on that thing that's like cutting into the roof of your mouth and choking you.
That would be a game changer. I don't know why people haven't invented a better way for that. I fucking hate the feeling of that.
I know.
Fuck that.
Okay. You have such a ragey energy.
Really?
Okay. I thought you'd have more stories. I obviously have the story of my teeth breaking when I. Oh,
yeah.
And actually, you know what's interesting? So my teeth broke. I forget how old I was. I was 8.
Yeah.
I was at a slumber party. I had fallen asleep under the pool table in the basement. There was a weird vibe that night, not gonna lie. It was probably 12 or 13 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt a little left out that night. It was one of my first memories of feeling kind of excluded. In the middle of the night, a pool ball jumped the lip of the table somehow and fell on my face, and it broke my nose, hence the deviated septum, and it broke my 4 front teeth, bottom and top. And what I was thinking about recently, have you known me when this has fallen off?
I think once, yes. I do think so.
It's only been replaced one time. Now, most people have to have these things, whatever they're called, the fake teeth that like fills in the holes.
Yeah.
Every 5 years or so.
So you went top notch when whoever did it.
Whoever did it did a great job. And my people like the
You
people,
couldn't have been 8 then. Wait, when they did it when you were like 8?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy. And only one of them's broken, right?
No.
Or you've had them all fixed?
The 2 bottoms and 2 tops.
Fixed one time.
Yeah. The bottoms, I think, are still from when I was 8.
Oh, that's what I meant.
And the top, I think, has been replaced once.
But I thought just maybe one top had been replaced. You think maybe both of them had been replaced once?
Oh, maybe just one. Isn't that wild?
That is pretty amazing.
Really good. Really good work. So I do very much respect dentists.
Gosh.
You know, it's an industry that's rough. They have like one of the highest rates of death by
I
suicide.
wonder if that's still true. Yeah, it was like them and toll booth workers were always like vying for that
Yes.
top spot.
And I think veterinarians are up there too, which I get that.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I think so. I think so.
No.
Because I think veterinarians have a really hard gig. You know?
That seems like such a bummer to me
Let me
because I
see.
feel like every vet I know is such a sweet person and anyone that wants to get into that, I feel like it's for such great reasons. And then it becomes a huge emotional bummer.
Okay, I'm just going here. We've taken a dark turn, but the top 10 jobs. Here we go.
Where's this from though? Because I feel like every time I look at these lists, every list is different.
It's from a website called Choices Psychotherapy.
Okay.
I don't know.
That seems legit.
Doctors, medical doctors,
Okay.
just as a whole. Totally get that. Dentists, police officers, veterinarians,
What? 4? Or you're going down the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
financial services,
Yeah.
real estate agents.
What?
I have a theory about that.
Okay.
Electricians.
Wait, is this how people die or commit suicide?
These are the top jobs with the highest suicide rates.
Electrician.
Lawyers,
Yeah.
farmers, pharmacists. Now, pharmacists, I'm like, you have access to everything. I also think it's kind of a thankless job. You have to be really well educated, and people are coming in there and bitching about everything. Like, every time I go to CVS, my heart goes out to the pharmacists. They're working hard.
Well, and it's also a job that takes incredible focus
Yes.
all day long. And it's like you're looking at little things all day long and you have to get it right.
And people are coming up to you going, are these Kleenex on sale? You know, like you're at the top, you know, you're so well educated. People's lives are in your hands.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with just annoying shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So real estate agents, this is going to be really rough, what I'm about to say. I might want to edit this out. The only reason I really feel this way is it is an industry I've thought many times about switching to when times are tough in my dream goals.
Yeah.
At least here in LA, and that's not to say, you know, people's dreams change and shift, but it does seem to be something that many people go to when their true passion didn't work out for them.
You are so off base here. You are. I don't know why, but something about this reminds me of why you don't like generic products. They're somehow related to me. That is absurd.
Oh,
No. That's not true at all. I don't think so.
Okay.
That's funny though.
Well, let's think of some real estate agents we know. We don't have to name names, but
I can think of a few that are awesome.
Several actors who have switched lanes.
Okay.
I can think of directors.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like 2 real estate agents I knew back in New York that loved it, and it was a really fun, cool job.
I'm not saying they don't
and
love
you can
it.
make okay, so well, okay, but
I think that you can love it if you switch to it, but I do think there might be something like empty, kind of deep within.
okay.
The what ifs are plaguing you.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give you a grain of sand here.
Okay.
I think maybe what you were actually. I'm going to give you a helping hand here. Is what I'm going to do with you. Actually, I think what you were trying to say is getting into real estate can sometimes be a career path that people maybe take on later when they're switching gears sometime, because it's like, oh, that's something I can do and put some work in to get a real estate license that you can make a great living off of.
You can.
And you can have a great lifestyle hours due to it. But it's more what's the word? Accessible than like, you know what, now I'm going to become a doctor and go to school for 8 years.
Yes, exactly. So, and this is the other thing. I think a lot of now I'm now on a website that's kind of explaining the reasoning thought to be behind this, for all of these fields.
Okay.
Which I'm way off base on real estate agents. But my theory also is that people think, oh, it's something I could do on the side while I'm still pursuing XYZ.
Oh, you think so? With real estate?
The truth is, I mean, it's similar to me being like, I could invent something and go on Shark Tank while still writing or whatever.
Well, that's plausible.
Well, I don't know, but real estate is very competitive. It's hard.
It's crazy competitive.
It's crazy work. The fact that there's no, like, you're working weekends, you're dealing with really picky clients. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, I guess the weekends I wasn't factoring into the hours.
So this is what this website is saying. I don't know what this website is, but we'll trust it. It's a website on the World Wide Web. Makes sense. The world of real estate can be a high-risk, high-reward profession. That's what's fun about it also. It's like a real gamble, which I think attracts people who are also gambling on their other thing. You know, like we're all taking a gamble. Just think of the housing crisis in 2008 when housing prices plummeted. The world of real estate has become crazy.
Oh.
The lack of stability in real estate, particularly not knowing when the next paycheck may arrive,
there you go,
may be one of the reasons why real estate agents die by suicide at a rate of 1.38 higher than the average person.
There you go. I bet that's similar to, like, when you said financial services, I'm like, oh, I feel like it's so sad. You hear that story a lot of people that like lost a bunch of other people's money and then like
yes, financial makes sense. Now veterinarians, here we are.
And then let's move on after this one.
Yeah, but I want to talk about something. Okay. Being a veterinarian requires technical skill, proper diagnoses, and little room for mistakes.
Sure.
Many vets work long hours and are constantly subjected to seeing animals put to sleep, which may detrimentally affect their emotional well-being. This may lead to feelings of depression and emotional stress. They may also feel like they are taking optimal care of themselves and don't need to seek treatment if they suffer from a mental illness. Okay.
I don't get that.
I think it's meaning veterinarians are less likely to seek help. I'm guessing because they are like so good at what they do and they're running this ship that they feel like, oh, I can't have mental illness.
I think I sort of follow that. Okay.
Do you have something hilarious to talk about?
I do have something one of the benefits of this podcast, I feel like, is sometimes since we're recording and you're stuck here, I can ask you questions that like you would elude me in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one that you have been eluding me in real life, so I feel like this is an opportunity.
Okay.
We got into crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah.
Me, then you, what's that called?
Usurped it.
Yeah, usurped it.
We could have gone on it together.
And you just finished.
I tried to.
Congrats to you. You finished your first 100 New York Times crossword puzzles.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday book. They make some cool books. Are you going to get a Tuesday book, do you think? Or are you going to take a break for a minute?
Well, I would love to have a Tuesday book. I've missed it, but I feel like that's a good like Christmas gift or something.
Oh, nice. I hear you. But you got like some Bic mechanical pencils, and then this is going to sound so confusing, got some Blick mechanical pencils. Blick, the art store chain. I think they're all over the country, right?
Yes.
Blick art stores.
Blick.
Anyways, I got like a $9 mechanical pencil that I love.
Yeah, it has a weight to it. It's silver.
It's silver.
It's metal.
I love it so much. I got another one that lives in the studio and then one that lives with my crossword puzzles.
And it looks like a nice ballpoint pen.
I think it looks like an awesome mechanical pencil.
Okay.
But it's not like the plastic Bic one that you have.
Mine are nice too.
But then you told me like a month ago, oh, don't worry about me. I got something coming.
I do.
And I've asked you so many times, what is coming? And you don't seem to know. You don't seem to have answers. And it's driving me fucking nuts.
Okay.
Did you fuck up with like ordering something?
No. I'm going to tell. I hope not. You know, when sometimes you order things and it's like, depending on how you pay for it, you can't track it as easily.
No.
Or you're like, how did I pay for this?
Give me an example that makes no sense.
So I don't want to tell you what it is.
That's what I want to know, though.
I know, but here,
it's never coming. You ordered this like a month ago, it sounds like.
I know, but so I ordered something and the pencil was an add-on to the thing that I ordered. And the thing that I ordered is taking a long time to get here, but it kind of makes sense that it is because it's like a specialized annual thing. And so, but I am having a hard time tracking it, but I did see that I paid for it.
Where you bought this, is it shady?
No. And it's something I've bought many of before.
I think I know what it is.
What is it?
It's going to be your 2024 daily planner.
You got it. You got it. I love...
Why didn't you just tell me? Are you fucking kidding? I thought this whole time, I was like, is it some weird, cool crossword kit she's lording over me that I'm going to be so jealous of when it comes? It's just your daily planner?
Appointed. I love Appointed. And I mark on my calendar, the same calendar that I'm buying for the next year. I have to have, what's that called? Analog physical planner. Mm-hmm. I can't do the computer planners. And I write down October, whatever is the day that...
To order the new one?
You order the new one. But it takes a while because they're still, I guess, printing them or something. But they're so nice. And as a bonus, I got a pencil, and what seems neat about it is that it looks like a number 2 pencil. It's like wood, but the inside part is mechanical.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah.
Yes.
Not gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
Gonna be a dud. Okay.
So
wow, that was so... I don't know what... It has been driving me crazy.
Well,
all for that? And
feel
how
like,
do you not know if it's
see,
coming?
I actually regret saying it because I feel like if it had showed up and I just started using it kind of, and you're like, what's that? I'd be like, oh, this is my new pencil. You would be like, oh, that's so cool. Anyway.
So why don't you think it's... Didn't you get an email confirmation?
Not really. Let's not get into that. That's boring. But
But
shop.
what's not boring is I don't think you ordered it. Like, I think you must have messed up.
I wanted to give you a big bra update. I do mean big,
Oh, yeah.
although it doesn't really seem that much bigger. But because I guess it's not. It's just one cup size up and one band size smaller.
Okay.
Game changer.
Really?
Now, it hasn't taken away my back pain, but I'm much more comfortable. And I always had, so the side wire, underwire, would always dig into my side. And truly the game changer, along with the bra,
Yeah.
is that Reddit thread tells you, no one's ever told me this before.
Okay.
Now, this is going to get like weird, and I don't want you to think weird about my body or anything, but I have my boobs, and then I have a good amount of like breast tissue on the side of my boobs.
Okay.
So there still can be like, you still have to check there for breast cancer. It's like under my armpit, basically, and kind of in my armpit. I have like a fleshy armpit, and then some.
Like your boobs keep going.
Well,
where you
no,
think the boobs
they
are?
don't even keep going, really. It's like two different things. But anyway,
Okay.
you're supposed to bend over
Yeah.
and pull it all into the bra.
Huh.
And it has changed so much for me. I used to just pop on my bra and
Well, yeah.
maybe fluff my boobs up a little bit. Pulling it all in makes it so much more comfortable.
Does that help
So
with
do
the
you
other
see,
bras
like,
too?
the underwire is going all the way over here instead of like it would have been here. No, if I try that with the other bras, my boobs are like spilling out of the top of them.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
I know. I'm like, no one even, so our bra specialists, nobody who commented on this said, no one knows about like this industry and world. Because I said, that must have been excruciating for you to listen to. And she said, not at all. It's like, no one, it's very common for people not to know about it.
Wow.
Again, it feels like, not to harp on this, but because it's for women and no one gives a shit about women's comfort and all of that stuff. Like, side tangent.
Yeah.
Did you know two things? This year, 2023,
Yeah.
is the first time they've used actual blood to test tampons and pads. Like those commercials where you saw them pour blue water onto it to be like, it holds 4 cups of water or whatever.
Yeah.
I always assumed, like, sure, for the commercials, you don't want to pour blood, like clotted blood onto it. But surely in a lab somewhere, like the tampon and pad companies are using blood or like blood-like stuff.
No?
No.
Really?
They're just using blood now. That is how, like, fucked up. Okay, and then the other one is just this year, 2023, they're using female-shaped crash test dummies. All of, with breasts and waists and hips, all of the crash test dummies up until now have just been different sized and weights, male figure, non-breasted crash test dummies.
What?
Yes.
You gotta see what the airbag's gonna do to the breasts.
I know. And it makes me wonder if things are going to change a lot because being an F cup with the seatbelt never quite sits exactly right on me.
Hold on. Is this the $1 million idea?
What is it?
Is there some sort of seat? You know how there's like seatbelt add-ons for kids to make them more safer? Has the auto industry like not really looked at how seatbelts work with breasts enough as much as they should be? Is there some sort of add-on that we could make that would make them safer for larger breasted women?
Well, now's the time. Let me tell you. This is an article in Forbes.
Okay. Says now's the time.
Says, fasten your seatbelts. A female car crash test dummy represents the average woman for the first time in 60 plus years.
Whoa.
So, every 6 minutes, there was about one car crash every 6 minutes in the United States in 2020. That's the last year that data is available. Women are the majority of the drivers and are historically
In the crashes?
historically less likely to get into a crash than men are. But they are also 17% more likely to die in a car crash and 73% more likely to get seriously injured than men. I wonder why that might be. Maybe it's because
The breasts?
they have not been using female. It's not just about the boobs, Andy. There are a lot of different things about a woman's body than just the breasts. Although,
let's be honest, though, that's one of the
That is
biggest
one of
differences
the-
if you're thinking about seatbelts and
yes,
stuff.
that is one of the things that I myself am curious if there could be a better seatbelt for me that like sits better, because sometimes it's like up and over my boobs. Something, I have to adjust it.
It would need a perfect name.
But can we first talk about?
Yeah.
Isn't that
That's wild. That
fucking crazy?
That is That is crazy.
The results of not using any female crash test dummies has benefited men and men only. Women are 2 to 3 times more likely to suffer whiplash injuries than men because they have less muscle and more boniness around their necks than men do.
Whoa.
Out of the 2 different whiplash protection designs from the 1990s, only one protected men and women equally. The other reduced life-altering whiplash crash injuries up to 70% for male occupants and had no benefit for female vehicle occupants.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know.
Huh.
So, it's just, but the overall thing being, why don't we talk more about this bra stuff? You're supposed to pull the if you have anything under your armpits into the bra. It's been a game changer for me comfort-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought I was comfortable, but now I'm much more comfortable.
Oh, wow. It's like a new day.
Yes. Tampons, not using,
At least a synthetic, or I don't know where you get the blood, but there must be
pig
plenty
blood.
Yeah, must be plenty
That's
of
what
blood.
they're using.
Now, doesn't the
sadly,
menses blood take on a different characteristic than just normal blood, though? Hopefully they're going to account for that, but you can't trust them if they're just starting to use blood.
I cannot trust them.
Huh.
I can't trust them.
Let's talk about vaginas and penises after watching that new show on Max.
Oh my God.
What's it called?
The Vagina and Penis Show. What is it called?
Look it up real quick. Just Max naked dating show.
Naked Attraction.
Naked Attraction. It's been in the UK for like 8 years. It just came to Max and is making a splash over here.
And I texted my friend Annie, who is a Brit.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, is it worth us checking out? Or is it all just, I don't really want to watch a show if it's all just like looking at naked people. Mm-hmm. Which the show...
That is all this is.
But
what are you talking about?
It's kind of more. It's interesting. There's an intrigue to it, and also how they approach it. I'm glad British people did it before Americans, thank God.
Yeah.
Because similar to like the Great British Baking Show, British people, I think in general, are much more kind to each other, and there's like a camaraderie and wanting to uplift each other, whereas in America it feels like competitive. I'm going to take you down.
Sure.
So the show, Annie was like, stop what you're doing right now and go turn it on.
Yeah.
So the show's premise, do you want to tell?
You have 6 people that are in these like colored boxes, and so you don't see them at first. And then there's one person
They're standing up in
these boxes. And then there's one person that's looking for a date, and he's going to choose one of these 6 people.
Or she.
So the first round, the boxes lift up slowly just to reveal their private parts.
Legs, feet. It comes up to above the waist.
Above the waist.
Or waist.
And in that round, the person gets to see all these vaginas or dongs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have to eliminate one person. Then the next round, the glass comes up a little bit more to reveal the chest/breast area, right? No
Please
face.
stop saying this just from the male perspective.
I just said chest/breast.
Okay. For women, I feel like straight women, it's also like their abs is what you're looking at.
Okay. Okay. They have to eliminate a person in that round. Still haven't seen the face. Then the face comes up. There's 4 people left, and they have to reveal another person after they see the face. Then the next round, the people talk for the first time.
They have to say what their favorite and least favorite things are about their bodies.
Yes. And then they eliminate one more person. So there's 2 people left. And the selector, here's where it gets a little fun at the end. Then the selector has to get naked themselves.
Yes.
And then they pick between one of the 2 people. And then they go on a date in their clothes. And then there's like a quick little fun follow-up. It's a pretty simple premise.
Have they still continued to date or not?
And I'll preface this also. There's like 8 seasons of this. We're probably good for a few more episodes. It does get a little repetitive and
yeah,
but it's interesting.
It is so interesting. And it's kind of the opposite of Love is Blind, which I think that it's very interesting to me because Love is Blind, I think an American premise is like people are getting to know each other without seeing each other at all.
Yes, this is the opposite.
And they fall in love sometimes and then they're like proposing to each other and then they see each other and 9 times out of 10 it falls apart.
Yeah.
And the premise of Love is Blind is like looks don't matter, right. Which I think is bullshit. Mm-hmm. I mean, beyond if you want to be like the bigger person and take looks out of it, mm-hmm. There's a chemistry. There are like pheromones. There's something about being physically next to that person and sometimes you're like no thanks, or sometimes, whatever.
Yeah.
So this is kind of opposite, but they also frame it in a way that's like, I think it's great because I'm stripped down to the real me.
Yeah.
Versus like, to me, the original premise, I'm like, this seems so shallow.
Yeah.
But it kind of isn't in an interesting way. The way they play it, and I will say it's really generally kind-hearted. No one's shitting on each other's bodies too much. I mean, there's been a little bit where you're like, mm-hmm. But what's been fascinating to me, more than anything else, mm-hmm. is I've never seen all these vaginas and boobs lined up.
Yeah.
I had no idea that vulvas, you're not...
Vaginas.
Vulva is the part that you're seeing.
Vaginas.
No, it's vulva. Came in such different shapes and forms.
Yeah.
And obviously hairstyle is a personal preference. Mm-hmm. And
Taking hairstyle out, though, is what you're talking about. You didn't know there were so many different styles.
Yes.
They're not put together the same.
Idea.
And what's also fun...
And the breasts also. Like, I mean, we kind of knew a little bit more about that. I'm going back to the third love diagram of like the different shaped breasts and how they sit.
Wait, what's surprising about the breasts to you?
Just how different they all are. You have what you have and you kind of assume.
Yeah, but for some reason I'm having a harder time wrapping my head around all that.
Different nipple colors, different, like everything's so different. And it's cool. I'm glad it's different. It is cool. And it's neat. It's neat to see.
Yeah.
And I will say, it makes me feel, not that I think I'm better or worse than any of them. All of them are perfect for the people they live on. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel really good about what I have in a way that I never have before. I just assumed we all kind of had the same situation going on. Yeah. So,
you're way better than all the people on this show, for sure.
No.
I mean, in the same way, the dogs, this is also a British show. Yeah. So you're seeing a lot of uncircumcised penises. Whereas if the show was in America, this is the other funny thing I think about the show, and I'm going to use an American example of the show. Let's say there was an American version of the show. 6 guys roll up, dongs hanging out, and there's one guy that's uncircumcised. You're like, don't pick that guy to eliminate first round. That's not fair. But
our culture has such a weird relationship with circumcision, not circumcision, you know.
But anyways, there's a lot of different penises and sizes, and
hair,
and I'm like, oh, that's great. Like they're all crazy looking.
What's nice, and you mentioned this the other night, is none of the people, if there's a notably, let's say, small or, you know, interesting looking penis, or like a vagina that stands out in some way and is significantly different. Yeah,
an outlier, if you will.
An outlier, thank you.
Yeah.
They're not picking them first round.
You can't. You look like such an asshole. That's what I'm saying. But in America, the Americans probably would. But the British are respectful. And there's been a couple episodes where the selector has, in my opinion, picked the outlier. And I'm like, whoa.
Definitely.
Different strokes for different folks. And I love that.
But by the end of it, you also kind of have a sense of who this person is. And what's really interesting is like the people are standing there and you kind of can even, especially once it gets up to the shoulders, you kind of have a sense of like who's confident, who's not, I don't know. It's interesting how much you can tell just about someone's body language. Yeah. But the other thing that it's done for me, you know, I think this has been changing for me over time anyway, but going back to my like body image issues and how I was spoon-fed, like skinnier is better. Nothing matters. It's skinnier. And I also grew up in a time where like having no hips and not looking womanly is the goal. Like, so get as skinny as you can. Yeah. And if you have, you know, whatever. Obviously that's changed and like butts are back in and things have changed and evolved in different ways. Yeah. But this has really solidified to me that bodies are truly beautiful. Yeah. In all different shapes and forms, all different, you know, amounts of fat on the bodies, all different, and they are all so different. Also,
oh yeah.
I cannot get over how different they are. I'm like, it's so interesting.
And you're talking about the vaginas again.
No. I'm talking about all of it. And
I would also
sometimes I'm looking at the 6 bodies lined up and I'm like, we have these societal ideal like pillars and you can look at the 6 and be like, well, that one, men or woman, is clearly the closest to like the hottest body here. Yeah. But I have frequently been like, that's not the one that I find the most beautiful.
Right. Yeah, me too.
I find this other one that's not nearly anywhere close to society's ideals that I find very beautiful or handsome, hot, whatever.
Have you also had the thought that like when they then show the people in their clothes, I'm also like, oh, you wearing clothes doesn't do justice to the body in a lot of the cases. Yes. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Which is interesting.
The style. Also, you have to take into account, I feel like there's a difference in like British style.
We're also started on season 1 too, so it's like a little. But yeah. And it's also, it's not a, if this hasn't gotten you to check out the show, it's also not like, it's not like.
Pornographic.
No. And it's not even, have you ever felt turned on watching the show, really? Like, it's kind of like...
no, well, that's kind of... Remember in a recent episode, you wanted to see me bending over? Yeah. And I refused to do that for you to see the difference in my breast sizes because I don't want you looking at my body, like, objectively like that. In this show, they literally are... Like, when the screens go up to be above the pelvis. Yeah. They're walking up to these boxes, inspecting the dicks and the vaginas, going that one's interesting. Right. Like, oh, it's a little like more labia forward than what I'm used to. Or, yes, this dick, like the foreskin's very long. Yeah. It's so
But
objective that it kind of takes
it's not titillating.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, yes, you nailed it. It's not something to watch if you're looking for, like...
To be aroused.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more like scientific and kind of like... It's opened my eyes to a lot of things. I've never, because I don't watch porn or at most I'll like, read something or whatever.
What are you reading?
Nothing. I've probably read 3 things in my time.
Interesting.
That,
okay.
plays a part. But I've never seen, I've seen a few penises, obviously. But I've never seen all these vaginas.
Wow.
Crazy. Cool.
Very cool.
Really, I at one point was thinking about writing a children's book.
What?
What?
Is this a segue?
I know that I recognize that might feel like a weird segue. But no, talking about body image, it would be a metaphor. And I was thinking about, I think I told you about this, like in Descanso, how all these trees are so different. Like they couldn't be more different, but they're all so beautiful as themselves. And why don't we give that same respect to bodies? Like all bodies are beautiful. All bodies are perfect just how they are.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a book kind of like that.
I get it. I'm with you.
I see that it, like we talked about recently, was an idea that came and took hold and then flew off to another host. And I see that was probably a good thing for me. But
you haven't told me about this idea before.
I never have. Do you remember like I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I feel like you and I both were kind of in a sad place and we went to Descanso and it lifted our spirits in an incredible way. Like it almost felt like spiritual.
Yeah, I remember that moment.
It was around then that I was like...
I don't know if I would have been in a place to hear that or something. I don't remember. I don't think you told me.
Okay. Well...
It's not a bad idea. They have a TV show that's kind of like that. That's a hit. Your book tour is like, I was inspired by Naked Attraction.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
Find inspiration where you can.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoy looking at vulvas. That's the word. It feels uncomfortable.
Minge, as they say in... Don't they, the Brits say that? I keep hearing... They say minge.
Minge?
Yeah,
For what?
I think it just means vagina.
Minge?
I think so. Will you type that in just so I make sure I'm not saying something offensive? But they say it on the show.
They do.
I think it's M-I-N-G-E.
Have they spelled it?
No, it's just... That's how I spell it.
Minge meaning British. Huh. The female genitals.
Yeah, I like it.
Wow. Well, and also... Bravo for finally having some minge up in those crash test dummies.
And why isn't there a seatbelt thing called the Bravo? We'll see you next week.
Good night.